Hi, this is Brett Woldridge from Logic Vein. I'm going to show you in this video today how to use our SmartChange tool in order to create your own custom configuration tools for using your network. Let's log in. In order to create new tools using the SmartChange, let's click on the Jobs tab and then Jobs Management. Now we're going to create a new kind of job here. And I'm going to choose SmartChange. And the SmartChange I'm going to show you how to create today is a SmartChange tool that will let you configure NetFlow on your router interfaces. So I'm going to call this tool NetFlow. And we're going to click OK. I've got some commands written up here already, and I'm just going to cut and paste those in, and we'll use that as our base to start. So in the commands view here for our tool, I paste the commands that we want to use as the basis for our NetFlow change. You can see here we enter config T mode, then we enter the interface configuration mode for fast Ethernet 01, and then we issue the IP route cache flow command. And then there's other commands that enable NetFlow on the router. Now obviously you want to be able to choose which interface that you enable NetFlow on. It's not always going to be fast Ethernet 01. So let's make this value a replaceable value that the user can specify when they run the tool. So I highlight the text that I want to make a replacement for, and I click the plus button. I'm going to give this replacement a name. Let's call it Flow Interface. I'm going to make this a choice type so that the user can select from multiple values. And here I provide the values that the user can select in a drop-down menu that will be displayed when the tool is run. I'm going to copy this so we can make some quickly here. Okay, that should be enough for demonstration purposes. And I click OK. You can see here that the value was replaced with the flow interface entry that I specified. And you can see further down in the configuration that this value also exists in another command. We want to replace this with the same replacement value that we already defined. So I simply highlight the text, then drag and drop. So now when the user selects the interface, that value will be used in both places in the configuration text. I'm going to allow the user to also configure the flow destination. So I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to make a replacement value. You can see here it was auto-detected as an IP address. And while the user can edit this value, it's probably usually going to be the same default. So I'm going to say use the selection as the default value. You can see here we have flow destination now added. And lastly, if you look at this tool, it seems like it's only going to allow you to enable flow on an interface, but it doesn't allow you to disable flow. I'm going to show you one more trick that you can use in SmartChange. I'm just going to type the node command here, which is used for removing configurations from your router, and I'm going to highlight that. And I'm going to make that a replacement value. Now if I choose the conditional type, now the way this works is the conditional type is going to present a checkbox to the user when they're running the tool. And if the checkbox is checked, it's going to use this value, no, and insert that in the configuration. And if the checkbox is not checked, it'll use no value at all. And we want to use the same value here. Finally, I'm going to show you how to group your replacements into more meaningful groups in the user interface that the user will use when they configure NetFlow on the device. I'm going to make a category that's called General. And I'm going to make a category that I call Flow Configuration. Now using the up and down arrows, I can move the various items into the various groups. like that. Now that I'm done here, I'm going to save the SmartChange, and we can close it. Now, if we go over to our Devices tab, you can see we have a SmartChange menu here. And if I click on that, I can see our new NetFlow tool. I'm going to select one of the devices in our network, this Cisco router, and I'm going to run the NetFlow tool against that device. Now you can see here, this is the interface that was built using the SmartChange configuration tool. Here's the general category, here's the flow configuration category. Here's the flow configuration with our default value, and here's the flow interface that the user can choose from the choices that we defined. And we have this enable disable flag. I'm going to turn this off so that it's enabled, and I'm going to execute this change. And if I look at the commands that were run, we can see here that we entered the interface configuration, we enabled NetFlow on the interface, and then we ran our various other commands. There's a warning here because I've already enabled NetFlow to this destination, so we can ignore that. And then here's the flow export source configuration for the same interface. Now, if I run the tool again and I want to disable NetFlow on the interface, I just leave disabled checked. I select the interface again, and I execute the tool. And you can see here this time, because I had the interface selected as disabled, the SmartChange placed that disabled value with no. And the effect is that we have disabled flow on this interface. That's a quick look at how to use SmartChange in order to build your own configuration tools for use in your network. For more information, go to logicvein.com.